Yes, I will use a movie as an example to get you to think. The problem here is cultural. Why is Big Pharma allowed to kill people? How do they get away with it? I would argue that they are hiding behind cultural and social norms. Satanists and the worst criminals, all the spiritual bottom feeders, are hiding behind cultural norms, social norms, mainstream social norms. Bear with me now. Why does society not want to accept that evil men rule society? It's sort of this double think, this reverse psychology almost, psychological tactics. We see it in cartoons, right? And we think, well, that's very cartoonish. You know, we are taught that this just couldn't be the case. That high society isn't that way. That they're greedy, but they're not evil. And it is socially normative to see it that way. You become stigmatized if you think that the people in charge are evil and if they're doing satanic ritual. But even when I was young, I knew that rich people, you know, do evil things in their spare time. They get bored with all that money and they want to do things for thrills. Raping little children and killing people, like it or not, is a thrill. You know, this goes beyond skydiving and stuff like that. These people get kicks out of doing this because they've done everything else pretty much, more or less. So they kill people. Once you kill one person, you can never kill that person again. So they get thrills out of it. They get thrills out of killing to accomplish their goals. Now, without further ado.
Guilty. You're the one who's guilty. Lawmakers, the politicians, the Colombian drug lords, all you who lobby against making drugs legal, just like you did with alcohol during the Prohibition. You're the one who's guilty. I mean, come on, let's kick the ballistics here. Ain't no Uzis made in Harlem. I mean, not one of us in here owns a poppy field. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is big business. This is the American way.
This is big business. This is the American way. And yes, you can cyber attack me all you want. That doesn't change the fact that the world is going to know that selling drugs and scapegoating black people is the American way. Scapegoating poor people is the American way. This thing is bigger than Chukwuemeka and arguing over my mental health. This is big fucking business. This is the American way. You people are the ones who are delusional, who don't want to accept that evil men are in charge, just like it says on my wall. It says evil men are in control. Haven't you noticed? Haven't you noticed? You're the ones who are guilty of harming society by your inaction and your inability to address the root cause of all pain and suffering, practically all pain and suffering, which is big business. It is the American way, the European way, the Israeli way. You're guilty. You're turning a blind eye because that's the American way too. Turn a blind eye to what your boss does. Women are taught not to report their boss for sexually harassing them because they might win a little settlement, but ultimately the other companies who harass women constantly are going to see that and say, we don't want to hire this person. We want to be able to harass women, without any consequences. Turning a blind eye to evil, like it or not, is the American way. Reminds me of the case of Kitty Genovese. Why didn't they call the police? Because it is the American way.
Owns a poppy field. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is big business. This is the American way.
So you people don't truly understand now, do you? Big business? What does it say about the most profitable industry? Pharmaceuticals, painkillers, addictive, mind-altering drugs. This is big business. This is legitimized drug dealing. Legitimized. This is political prostitution. On the left and the right, the left has teamed up with them in order to try to control what is socially normative to push their feminist and homosexual agendas so they can make these things more accepted and more commonplace. And the right that supports big business, I don't think I have to explain to you. We see it on the news. You see these Republican politicians saying, well, you know, we're going to seek mental help. Now, there's a difference between seeking help for drug addicts and seeking help for people who are with perceived mental illness, you know. There's a big difference. And they're being put in the same category. It reminds me of the bill that was passed not too long ago in California when we voted on it. It said that they're going to reduce the, vandalism, make it not, make it a misdemeanor or whatever, and certain theft, under a certain amount of money, they're going to reduce it to save prison time, and they're going to shift the money toward mental health. Shift the money toward mental health. So they put it together. Combining things is one of the dangers in politics. To get something a little good across, you have to accept a lot of evil. Because it's the American way. To turn a blind eye to evil so we can pursue what benefits us or what we think benefits us. Big fucking business. When I'm taking on the spiritual bottom feeders, I'm taking on big business, big government, big political movements, big institutions, law enforcement, intelligence agencies, the huge, the humongous, the monstrous military-industrial complex. How hard do you think it really is for these huge entities to crack down on little old me? What you think about that for a while?